As you can see here, my mushroom bed is finished. I'm not an expert. I've never grown wine cap mushrooms, but I want to try. And as I said, I've watched several videos to try to figure out how to do it. And unfortunately, it'll be fall before I know whether this worked or not. But I'm a good, patient man. I can wait on that. There's that little fire pit. I put some blocks on the edge to hold the wash tub. I've built a fire. And I'm going to boil some water, and because I cannot find any organic straw, I know that any straw that I buy that's been grown commercially is going to be sprayed with an herbicide. Most people don't realize that wheat and oats are harvested by spraying the plants. Once the majority starts turning brown, they spray the whole field. They want to harvest it all at one time. What better way to kill it than to simply go in and spray an herbicide on it? And if you don't believe me, Google it. I even asked my brother-in-law who raises wheat, and that's what I was told. Yes, that's very true. Yeah, I know it looks like something out of the 1920s or the 1930s, but hey, don't knock the old ways. I come from a long line of Appalachian people that knew how to get things done. They knew how to survive. They knew what they needed to do. Of course, they would have been canning green beans, or they'd have had their tomato sauce in there, the jars wrapped in cloths, old rags to keep them from banging together. And they'd have done a great big bunch at one time. Remember, they didn't want to cook in the summer in the house. They'd get outside and set up some system where they could stay under the shade tree and watch it. Well, it's 11:38 and you might not can see it in this video. Let me get my hoe here. And the flames are still good under there. This stuff is starting to steam now. It's really getting good and warm. That should sterilize any bacteria, and it should help kill those seeds. It's kind of like putting something in compost. When you put something in compost, what helps keep the seeds and the stuff from coming up is the heat on the compost pile. And yes, I have a compost thermometer. Who knows where in the heck it's at? That's just me. When I need something, I can't find it. And when I don't need it, it's always there. Okay, from the videos I watched, I need to try to raise my wine cap mushrooms in shade. So I'm right in here amongst these trees. I actually thought about having these trees taken out, and I thought, well, I don't really need to raise that much. So this is the rough ground before I get started. Yeah, there's some aggravating, evasive honeysuckle bush. I see quite a few little briars in here. So I'm going to use my handy dandy shovel, clean up the big weeds before I put this fresh cardboard down. And if you've never ever used a root slayer, it's got a knife at the end, it's serrated. You just don't know how easy it is to remove weeds underneath a tree that's just full of roots. All right, let's get in here and get these weeds out and briars. We'll take a chance of that one coming up. We'll go take it out too. Time I go get some gloves. Need my gloves. I had to put my old floppy hat on. As you can see, my face is red. Most of that's just because I'm working hard, but a lot of it's actually too much sun, even on a cloudy day. This is not something that it's said to do on every YouTube video I watched about starting wine cap mushrooms. But you know, I never follow instructions. I just use them as a road map, and I like to take little detours. So I'm going to pick up this cardboard first, put down a little mulch on this ground. Put down a little bit of, I said mulch, but it's actually some 2-year-old wood chips. All right, you might wonder why I put the wood mulch down underneath the cardboard when it doesn't call for it. And as I said, I don't follow the rules. I just use my brain, try to do things that I think that are going to help. If it doesn't, what's my loss? Maybe my mushrooms don't do any good. I can still buy them at the store if I have to, but I prefer having homegrown that I know how they're raised. I put the wood chips down because I know I have to keep the mycelia moist at all times. So by putting it underneath, it'll help hold moisture that goes through on the layers of cardboard. I will be stacking the cardboard next. Then we'll go the hay that I have boiled just to sterilize it and try to kill any seeds that might be in it. And then on top of the hay, I'll put more wood chips. But the first thing I've got to do is put this cardboard down and then put my wet cardboard down. And every one of the ones that I watched say to soak your cardboard for over 24 hours, which I've done in that tub before I started boiling the hay in it. And I'm going to take and separate it just like they said. They said to place the spore on the corrugated part of the cardboard to separate it. So that's my next step, is to put this down and then put down my cardboard. All right, as you can see back here behind me, I have my cardboard on the ground. Now I'm going to put my wet cardboard on top of that. And remember, I'm going to put the corrugated side up because that's what the mycelia is going to attach to. look back behind me here, you can see my hay's definitely hot, as well as I am from all this work, but I'm going to have to cool down, so this is going to be perfect. I'm going to dip this hot hay out while it's wet, throw it down on the cardboard, and when it cools, I'm going to bring out the wine cap mushroom, mycelia, spore, whatever you want to call it, but it's really mycelia, and cover all of this up with wood chips when I'm done. All right, let's do it. Let's get this wet hay over in this wheelbarrow. And yes, as you can see, it's steaming very well because it's very hot. It's been boiling. All the seeds should be cooked that was in it, so I shouldn't have seeds coming up. And just grabbing a hold of it like that, it's amazing how warm it is. Dang, it's heavy when it's wet. Okay, let's apply some straw now and let it cool. Our water is heavy chlorinated, but this has been sitting inside for about probably a week in the garage, so I know all the chlorine is out. I'm just going to use it to cool this straw maybe just a tiny bit faster. Nice and cool. The straw's nice and warm. I just didn't like the idea of using chlorine on that. And this red face, that's sunburn.